Dreams are free. Goals have a cost. While you can dream for free, goals have a price. Time, effort, sacrifice, and sweat. How will you pay for your goals? Thanks for clicking on to another episode of Hook, Line, and Shifter. I'm your host, Bob McCarty. Today's episode, the kickoff of the Florida State Championship Series 2025 at Tom Brown Park in Tallahassee, Florida. Glad to say I have you're going to see in a minute, I have the interview with the leaders for the women and the leaders for the men. They get to debut the leaders jersey. Legg and Darla Woodall. Amazing performance from both of them. So I hope you enjoy it. In addition to that, after the video, you'll get a chance to see my pre-ride from the trail in the past weekend. I'm not going to do the usual where I talk over the whole thing. Just going to give you a chance to actually watch the video, see what the trail's like. I'll fast forward some sections or two so you can kind of get through it a little bit quicker than what you normally would. And as always, thank you to my sponsors for giving me the ability to put on these shows for you on a regular basis. Orcus Technology, ESI Grips, U-Cycling, MASH Mobile Vet, POC Helmets, NB Wheels, Pirelli Tires. If you go on to U-Cycling and ESI Grips, that's ucycling.com, esigrips.com. Use the code HLS2025 to get yourself 20% off site-wide. Again, I'm your host, Bob McCarty. Thanks for watching another episode of Hook, Line, and Shifter. I really hope you enjoy it. So like I said, I had a chance to interview Legg. He won the Elite Men. He won the time trial and then won the cross country on Sunday. And then Darla Woodall that won the time trial and wound up getting second on the cross country on Sunday. But both of them are in the leaders' jerseys. So wanted to learn a little bit of something about both of them. This is her first time into the elite women category. And hell man, this is the first time this kid, 23, really is stepping up his game. Very, very impressive performance. So I hope you like the two interviews. Again, thanks for watching Hook, Line, and Shifter. I'm your host, Bob McCarty. All right. So as promised in my last episode, I was talking about the kickoff to the Florida State Championship Series 2025. Last weekend, we were up in Tallahassee, Tom Brown Park. And I'll tell you what, there was somebody that showed up. Don't know a lot about him, but we're going to find out everything about him today. The proud owner of the leader's jersey, the winner of the time trial on Saturday, and the winner of the cross country on Sunday. It's my pleasure to introduce him to Hook, Line, and Shifter. Welcome to the show, Reed. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Bob. Thank you. What an introduction.
Yeah, well, thank you for coming on. Like I did a little bit earlier with you in this in the pre-introduction, very easy going. Just want to learn a little bit about you, learn a little bit about your history. We'll get into the actual race itself. But for right now, man, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So my name's Legg, obviously. Right now I'm focusing on Xterra racing, so off-road triathlon. And then I'm going to be obviously racing the FSC series as much as possible in the fall. My background, I race mountain bikes.
Let's go with that Xterra thing, because you're going to be somewhere next weekend, because you're not joining us in Jacksonville. Where are you going to be next weekend?
unfortunately, I'll miss Jacksonville, but I'll be on my way out to Italy to for race Xterra World Championships.
Damn, what exactly? I'm not, yeah, I'm a mountain bike guy. 31 years of being a mountain bike guy. Tell us a little bit about what Xterra racing in Italy is going to be for you. I'm curious about
Oh,
that.
I haven't been out there yet, but the mountain bike course looks amazing. I mean, it's pretty similar to a style of over the weekend in Tallahassee.
Oh,
It'll
okay.
a lot of climbing, but it's at some altitude, about 3,000 feet, and so
So backtrack. So Xterra, so what exactly do you have to do, or what are you anticipating that you're going to have to do? How long is the event? Give me some more details about this
so
thing.
it's overall it's about 2.5 hours, but so we
Okay.
got a mile swim, and then it's I think it's about 24 to 25 mile bike. It's normally the Olympic distance triathlon, so it kind of ranges depending on how hard the course is, but it's about an hour and a half bike, and
And
then
so very similar to Tom Brown, as we were saying, all off road.
all off road. Yeah, it's two
Okay.
big loops, all mainly off road. It got some fire road stuff, but mostly single track.
Okay.
And then we have a 10K trail run off of the bike.
You've done Xterras before here in the US?
Yes, I have. I raced about a month ago in New Mexico, so to qualify me for Worlds.
Wow. And how did you do there?
I won the race in New
Of course.
Mexico, but
Of course. Of course you did.
yeah.
What is your background?
I ran most of since I was little. I mean, I started running when I was 5, and I started BMX as well, right when I was
Okay.
about five years old, and then started triathlons at 8, and been doing that ever since. And
Triathlons. I'm obviously familiar with your dad. I have to deal with him occasionally, which is a pleasure of mine. But is he or your family the one that got you involved in all this?
yeah, both my parents ran in college, ran most their whole lives, and my dad has always loved mountain bike BMX, so that's how I got into it when I was really little.
Oh, okay. All right. So
Yeah.
Xterra. Okay. From Xterra, how did this evolve into wanting to get into this mountain bike racing scene with us?
I mean, I raced some of the FSC when I was 12, 13 years old, so about 10 years
Oh,
ago. I did a few of
okay.
the races when I was younger, and then kind of got out of it once I was in high school and college. And
Okay.
but I mean,
Can
I love.
we can we ask how old you are now?
I'm 23,
Okay. All right.
23. So it's I did some of the FSC last year, and but I was still focusing on running back when I was in college. I just graduated from UF,
Okay. What did you get a degree in?
mechanical engineering.
Oh, good for you.
So,
Good for you. So
yeah, I
you're
didn't,
gonna
didn't have a lot
try
of
and
time.
nice. So you're gonna try and join us for some of the Florida State series. When do you come back from Italy?
I'll come back. I race on the 25th and 7th, I believe. So I'll be back that next week. So
I think
what's the next
the
race?
week after Jacksonville, we're off, and then it's back down here in
Sunrise?
South Florida for. So we have Jacksonville this weekend, then we're off for a week, and then it's Dyer Park, part of the Coconut Cup Series. You're gonna come down for that?
I might be. Yeah, that could be the plan if I'm not doing it because I have some road races that are going to be bouncing in there as well. So I got to kind of dodge those. But I think that'll be the next race that I'll
Okay.
try
And
and plan to do.
where are you based out of?
I'm in Tampa, so I'll be. It's I
What
mean
what
pretty
off
simple.
what off-road parks do you ride there? What trail
I mean, we have
system do you
we have
use?
Starkey, which is it's pretty flat. It's not as high level as like Alify, but I'll try and go down to like Alify and Carter Road
Oh,
and
okay.
like Bonvoy at those. That's where I bounce around most of the time when I try and do like an actual mountain bike ride.
Okay. And what kind of bike do you ride?
I ride a 23 S-Works Epic.
Nice. Nice. That's a pretty good
Yeah.
ride you got there. Any sponsors that help you out doing what it is that you do that you want to plug here?
My parents so far.
Just your
That's
parents?
yeah,
I'll
that's
tell you
that's it.
I'll tell you
That's
what,
for now.
if you keep up what you did to the guys this weekend, I think sponsors will be knocking on your door trying to get you to plug their their product, but
Of course.
it seems like you got a pretty good future on that mountain bike.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, let's get into this past weekend of racing. I'm going to be the first one to tell you, man, completely honest and upfront with the whole thing. After the time trial, when your time trial results came out, and I think it was a 22. What was your time on the time trial? Do you
I believe
remember?
it was 22:30.
Okay, 22:30, with the likes of Ryan Woodall, Nick Mackey, Jack, Marco, and all these guys in the mid 23s, and you go and throw down a mid 22. I think it was 38 seconds faster than
I believe
Ryan,
so.
correct?
I believe so. Yeah.
Ryan's like a legend in this sport, and you throw down this.
Of course.
I was the first one, man, that when I saw those results, I'm like, nah, this is just is not right. You're not beating those guys by 40 seconds. Sure enough, I ate my words. I talked to Ryan, and he said, no, man, he's legit. And I'm like, man, he goes, you're just laying down the power relentless against everybody. Tell me a little bit overall how, not overall, you can get into the details of it also. How did your time trial go for yourself? Did you have any nerves about sitting on that starting line? And when did you didn't get a chance to go off in the top 10, correct?
No, yeah, I was probably 7 or 8 behind where you started. So I
Oh,
was
so
in the
you were
regular
all right. So
category.
you were stuck in that delay.
Yeah.
For those of you that don't know, I think maybe I don't know, 8 or 9 people got to go off before us, and then right as I was about to go, they had a scoring issue, and I think how long do you think we sat there for? Probably 15, 16,
Oh,
17 minutes
somewhere
getting
around there.
pulled.
Yeah. Oh, for
Yeah, so
sure.
waiting to go. I was the first one to go off. Thank God you went off 6 or 7 people behind me because you would have just blown by me and absolutely destroyed me.
Oh,
I turned in a 20, you were a minute I don't know, a minute and 30 seconds faster than me. You would have blew by me during this time trial and pretty much
oh.
demoralized me. All right, how did the time trial actually go for you? How did you feel after sitting for so long? And did you know that you were going to have be able to throw down that kind of time?
I wasn't quite sure. I've never done a mountain bike TT before, so it was a little interesting. I did.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna keep interrupting here. So you've never done a time trial before, yet
No.
you threw down the fastest time of the day, and we'll get into what you did on Sunday. You backed it up on Sunday. How do you pace yourself for something like that? I've done, I don't know, 40 time trials, and I'm pretty good at it, but the first one, and that's what you do. How does that happen?
I I mean, I've done a lot of training. I mean, I've raced like some crit races and road time trials before, so I kind of understand where my limit is. And I mean, I look at my heart rate, know that I can't go over a certain area, like certain limit, and otherwise I'll blow up. But
I have to ask for the fans out there and the future fans of you, what is that number that you might be looking for? What is that high number that you say you don't want to go over?
it'll be right probably like 178 to 180
Okay.
is a limit in like I mean about a 30-minute race. I don't really want to go over that,
Okay.
especially not in the first 10 minutes of it. Yeah, it's
Okay.
I leave
So
that for the last few.
all right. So you've never done the mountain bike time trial before, yet you threw down this time. How did you feel going up how did those legs feel going up the fire road to the top of the Cadillac Trail?
It hurt a lot more than I wanted to in the first 10 minutes, but it
At
was
that
I was
at that point
trying.
at that point when it hurts a little bit more than you wanted it to, do you back off? Do you just say, "Oh, this is kind of where I need to be," or were you looking forward to the single track to possibly recover on the Cadillac descent?
Yeah, that's exactly it. When I knew the single track would be somewhat of a descent after the fire road, so I'll have some recovery there. And so I just kept pushing up the fire road, hoping that I'd have enough to recover. And sure enough, I'd recovered decently well from it.
Once you cross over the bridge at the bottom of the Cadillac Trail, we actually had a pretty long. It was almost deceiving. It was like a false. It was like a false. It was a climb, But man, it
Mm.
it actually added up pretty quick. It kicked my ass the entire time. How did you feel going up that climb after we crossed over the wood bridge?
Yeah, I was a little surprised during when warming up. It didn't seem as bad, but during the time trial, it hurt a little bit. But
Okay.
it was still I had a little bit of recovery coming down, and so I had some energy to get back up, and what didn't hurt me too bad.
What gear, what chain ring size do you run up front?
34,
A
34.
34.
Yeah,
God. I assumed with that kind of power you're putting down, you would have been on a 30, on a 36. Huh.
no, yeah.
Okay, the one of the questions also, if you guys will get a chance to see it in the video that I put up, we got a chance to ride a wood wall berm. In the middle of the wood wall berm, there's actually a seam. There's a seam from the wood on the lower half compared to the higher half. Gotta ask the question, did you run the lower half or did you run the higher half for the fans? Which one was it?
I was running the lower half. It was
Yeah.
the higher
I'm
half would it kick you off at the bottom and end up in the bushes. So
Exactly. I saw some videos this week of some people running the high one and then winding up off on the left side of the whole thing.
exactly.
Unfortunately, fans don't necessarily care for it, but the low line is actually the fastest one. All right. After we came off of that wood berm, we climbed all the way back up to the top of. It's called a free ride or a flow course. I'm assuming there it's not that long. I think it's only about 2 minutes to get back up to the top. You probably laid it down from that point. But after you crested around the top, you got close to the road and dropped back into the single track. How did you feel from that point all the way back up to the finish?
I mean, I was pushing the limit there. Once I got back up to the road, I knew it was only a few minutes left. So that was pretty much everything I had from there on. And
Nice.
especially climbing back up when we right before the finish, we get open into the parking lot. That little steep climb right there.
Right
That was
next to the
everything.
RC, up to the RC course, and then
Exactly. Yeah.
laying it down up to the arches. When you crossed the finish line, I know there was a bit of a scoring delay, but did you know the time that you laid down?
I did. I mean, I had my Garmin on, so I knew it was somewhere around 22:30, and but I didn't know what was fast. I hadn't looked at the
So
course
you
records
didn't
yet.
you did all right. So you didn't know, and actually, Dave didn't say anything about other people's times. At least when I went out, that actually they were still out on the race course. But by the time you went, yeah, there's probably still they were probably just about finishing. What did when before you went? Did you see anybody come through the chute, or did you still have an open chute on the first run?
I still had it open. Yeah, it
Oh, okay,
was no one
okay.
had
So
come
you
through quite yet.
so you really didn't know any of the times. All right, the million dollar question. I'm assuming you run with power, correct?
Yes, yes, I do.
Okay. Um, you don't have to answer it if you don't want to, but I'm sure there's people that are curious. What is your threshold right now?
Oh, I haven't quite tested
So
recently.
give
I was
me give
planning
me
to
a give me
after
a
Worlds.
range. Give me something that's. I have a number in my head, and I don't even want to vocalize what I think it is.
So
But
like an FTP type
yeah,
number.
exactly, exactly. What do you
I
think
mean,
your
I would
FTP is?
if I was gonna guess, it should be uh close to 400.
Yeah, that I
It's
I had a number in my head of about 415. So, and what do you for everybody out there that wants to do the calculations? How much are you weighing right now?
it'll be right under 75 kilograms. So
Okay.
it's 165 pounds.
Oh, okay. Great. So we're probably somewhere in the high fives for your watts per kilogram. Great. Great. Maybe low six. All right. Well, congrats, man. What a
Thank you.
what a run! And again, I gotta say, you impressed the shit out of me. You made me eat my words. I didn't think it was legit, but you definitely you put a hurting on the guys. I really do wish that we could have you for the entire series. I don't know if, based on your schedule, if you're going to be able to accommodate the entire series, nor chase the overall points. It sounds like your schedule's a little bit hit and miss. Do you think you'll be able to chase the whole series and seek out an overall, or is that not necessarily high on your priority?
It'd be something I want to try and do. So if it's a possibility, if I just have to miss like one road race or something to be able to make the whole series, then I'll definitely try to. I know there's also like some makeup race if I have to miss another one or another one of
Yeah,
the
down
series.
Yeah, down here in the first week of December, we're down at Amelia. That's one of the makeups for the Florida State Series. Coconut Cup specific time trial, usually a time trial on Saturday that you can transfer into the FSC, and then a the cross country on Sunday, which can make up into the FSC. So there is the possibility to chase it. I'm sure the guys would love to see you out there for the entire thing. I'll be the first one. I'll be the first one to tell you. I'm glad I'm not in your class anymore. For everybody that asks
Oh,
me on a regular basis, "Hey Bob, you're going to go back down to the young class?" Nope,
my dad wishes
done.
you would.
Yeah. And tell you what, I wish your dad would go down there and race with them, man. We had a good one going this weekend until he flatted going across
Oh
the
no,
creek.
that
So
was rough. He's like, I just really before the race, I hope nothing goes wrong, and of course,
yeah, of course.
it
There wound up
happens.
being there actually wound up being a lot of flats this weekend across that creek, and
Yeah, it's pretty rough.
unfortunately, it was one with your dad, but man, he put a. I'll be honest, he put a hurting on me. He's so strong, and then obviously I talked to you after the race when your dad was there, and asked if the two of you trained together, and yeah, unfortunately, I got you as a monster that get your dad gets to train with you. So I've got good training partners here too. So I look forward to to hopefully competing with your dad again. But
Yeah, it should be
all right.
fun.
So again, congrats on that time trial
Well, thank you.
on Saturday. Let me rephrase that. Congrats on the time trial, the first one you've ever done, and you absolutely destroyed the guys. So, all right, let's talk a little bit about the cross country race on Sunday. Obviously, winning the time trial, you got the first call up. You got the first call up to drop in for down the straightaway. On the start, did you line up to the left, middle, or to the right? And the reason I asked that is there was a tree about halfway down that a bunch of you guys split, and I heard the inside line was a little bit faster than the outside line. Where did you line up?
I lined far left, so I was against the fence on the left side, and just to make sure I could go to the left, because I knew the right side you kind of have to go a little wider than we wanted to.
Okay.
Um,
And then I'll break down a couple things. Once you went down this straightaway, it pinched off. It pinched off through a piece of a fence. We had to go around a like I don't know what you call it, like a small sign hut into some single track and then across the creek. I was talking to a couple of guys after, and they said you didn't get that good of a start. And you correct me if I'm wrong. After the creek, when we made a right onto the fire road, where were you at that point? I heard pretty far back.
it was probably about seventh. Yeah, I had a
Okay.
rough start, and I just got pinched in a bad when it came to the bottleneck at the bottom. I got pinched too, so it put me back another two places. So I ended up around seventh going across the river.
Did you miss a clip on the start, or was it just that was it that fast for you? And how many of these chaotic mountain bike starts have you done?
I've it's probably six or seven, maybe a little less, but it's
I'll tell you,
I've done some practice with it, but
people are gonna absolutely hate this right now. But any struggle clipping in, or you got your foot in?
I think I missed just slightly, and that was the half a second that Ryan got ahead of me, and then I was kind of stuck behind him after that. So it was
All right.
just
And then
it was my
coming after the creek, we make a right onto a fire road. Like I said in the last video, it's approximately a 5 minute climb up the fire road before it pinches off into single track again. Let me rephrase that: 5 minutes for me. Reed, I have no idea. It was probably maybe 350, 4 minutes, if somewhere around to get to the top. How quickly did you go from sixth to? I heard you got to the front pretty fast. How quickly
I
did you
went.
do it?
It was. I mean, I passed everybody about at the same time, so I went from about 15 seconds after we turned on the fire road. I went to the front and then started
Did
hammering.
anybody attempt to go with you, or did they let you go?
It's they. I think they hesitated a little bit. They were a little confused. I think
Yeah,
is
one of my guys I was talking to, they actually said you came by with so much speed and so much power that they kind of I'm assuming they might have thought that you couldn't sustain it, so they decided to let you go a little bit.
Yeah, that's kind of what it seemed like. I got a little bit of more of a gap than I thought I would have. Like normally, if they were anticipating me to do that, but then about maybe a minute later, the group had caught back up.
At any point when you're laying down these watts going up that trail, did you question, oh shit, this might have been a little bit too hard, or were you prepared for the 4 laps?
I was a little prepared. I mean, the first lap was pretty fast. We still
I know
still
you
went a
guys
little
you
faster.
cracked into what'd you do? A 20, I got here 22:48 on the first lap. So you and Ryan was with you, and then 6 seconds. Oh no, everybody
It
was
was pretty
pretty.
close. There was a
Jack
little
was
gaps,
there.
but
Okay. So yeah, 22:48, and then lap 2 you went from a 22:48 to a 23:19. It's not all that big of a difference given the way that the start works. You don't actually have to go through the chute. So I would say you were probably right at that 20, right, probably right at the 23 on the first lap, just because of the nature of the way
exactly,
scoring
yeah.
works. All right. So at the top of the double track fire road, before it pinches off into single track, you said the group caught back up. So you dropped into the single track first. Was Ryan second wheel?
At the time, Ryan was not. I think it was Jack. Jack was second wheel, and then Nick, and then I don't know exactly who was behind after that.
Okay.
But
Okay. How
Ryan
did
was
you
somewhere right there.
okay, how did you feel going down the single track of the Cadillac Trail? And how many times have you gone down that piece of single track?
That was the third time.
Okay, so
I did once
I don't
before the
know.
time trial.
Yeah, I don't know how many. This really is going to piss a lot of people off. I think I've gone down that Cadillac Trail. My career started in '95 going down that Cadillac Trail. So I've probably gone down it 1,000 times, and I'm sure you absolutely destroyed my time going down it, and you went down it 3 times. That's great. All right, when you got to the bottom and you crossed over the bridge, was a few guys with you, and what did you tactically decide at that point?
I was a little worried because I didn't know if people were gonna pass because the group had kind of come back together on the downhill. Like more people had kind of caught back up that couldn't do it on the fire road. And so I didn't know if people were gonna want to pass at that point. So
Okay.
I was kind of defending my first spot at that
Did
point.
you did you really think after what you did to the guys going up the fire road, did you really think anybody's going to want to pass you at that point?
I don't know. I didn't know with some of the trails if they feel more comfortable up front or if they want to control it. Like that's
Okay.
what I just had some of those thoughts. So I wanted to be up front, so I stuck there. So I was like
That
giving it, still pushing it.
to backtrack for 1 second to the start, based on your time trial time and then Ryan's time trial time, I'm assuming you felt pretty confident on the start. Who was it, Ryan, ultimately that you had marked for the day that you were concerned about? Was it Mackie? Was it Jack? Who was your thought? Or was it just I'm gonna race and whoever's around me at the moment, that's who I have to worry about? Or did you really prioritize yourself on a specific person?
Well, I mean, I know Ryan always has a way of sitting. Maybe he's not first in some of the races for the first lap, and then he'll get faster. So that was what I was really worried about was that if he could come back and get faster each lap, that was my main concern.
When
Um,
when back in my day of racing Ryan, man, that was you absolutely nailed it. Is that he would get so much faster as the day went on. He just would destroy me, and based on well, you did the exact same thing. You guys ran a 23:19. Forget about the 23 part. You ran a 19, a 27, and then dropped into an '07. And then that's where you got Ryan. You got Ryan in that final lap. All
right.
right. So obviously a little bit concerned about Ryan. So you came across obviously going up after the bridge, after the wood bridge at the bottom of the Cadillac Trail. You crested the top. I'm assuming nobody wanted to go in front, correct?
No one was trying to at
Okay.
that
Everybody's
point.
just trying to hang on for dear life with that, with what you were trying to do. All right, from there it's nothing but single track all the way around to the wood berm. Based on your skill set, you felt comfortable inside all of that single track?
Yeah, I knew some of the guys might be a little more comfortable because I haven't mountain biked as much as some of the other guys, obviously behind me. So I knew that they might be able to turn just a tiny bit better or know the trail a little bit better. So I was still pushing when I could up some of the hills, but I knew they were gonna be right on it. But I didn't know if they wanted to pass at that point, so that's where I was still
All
concerned.
right. At any point did you realize that nobody wanted to pass you?
It was it was about when it was, I think it right around the wall at some point Jack fell off and Ryan passed them both and Ryan was chasing me, and so I knew at that point I had a little bit of a gap. I had
Okay, so it was
about
gonna pretty
three or
much
four
gonna come down
seconds.
to you guys at that point. All right, so after that, when you crossed through the chute on lap one, you headed out on lap two. You headed out on lap two, and then the same thing for two, three, and four. You just you laid down the power with Ryan, and then on lap four, I got a chance after my race was over to kind of watch what was going on. At what point did you really start to attack him on lap four and come across that win that you did?
It was because we came across, I think when we came down, we crossed the bridge about halfway through the lap. We were still together. When we started going back up on the single track before the wall, I kind of got somewhat of a gap. And the second I got more than a 2 second gap, I decided it was time to give it everything and hope he can't hang.
Uh-huh.
and
And I'll tell you what, he tried, and your mission was accomplished. So you wound up getting Ryan by about 13 seconds, and then 2 minutes over Mackey, 3 minutes over Jack, high 3 minutes over Marco. So congrats, man. I
thank you,
like I said, I hope we get you around more. It was super impressive with
thank you,
what you did to the guys in Tallahassee. And again, I'll reiterate the sentence. I'm glad I'm not with you guys anymore. I spent
oh,
27 years in that class dealing with everybody. You you go and continue to beat up on you could continue to beat up on all those guys.
we'll see. Hopefully,
Um, all right, listen, I had a pleasure, absolute pleasure of mine getting a chance to talk with you a little bit today about this weekend. Good luck to you in Italy
thank you.
For your Xterra things. I'm sure you'll crush it, and we look forward to seeing you at some more of the races. I look forward to racing your dad at some more of the races. If anybody wants to follow you, how do they follow you? What are some of your social media stuff that somebody could
Mm,
look into you?
the main one's Instagram. It's just Reed Leg on Instagram is
Read Leg
the
on
handle.
Instagram. Okay. Give me one last thing that you can attribute to what you think some of your success is uh, as an athlete, because you're clearly really good at what it is that you're doing. Give me one thing or one thing for the fans that you can attribute some of your success to doing.
It's I mean, for cycling success, I think a lot of it comes from not just cycling and running as well. I think that has helped a lot, but then it's also just having my mom has been my coach my whole life, and I think constantly having someone there to push you, make sure you do every workout right, has definitely been what's got me to where I am.
That's that's awesome, man. Well, congrats to you.
Thank you.
Again, I appreciate you taking the time to come and come on to my my janky show here, and we look
Thank
forward to
you.
seeing you at some more of the races. So,
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was a pleasure.
yeah, no problem. Anything I can do for you at the races, feel free to let me know. So,
Of course, and same
I
here.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks again.
Yep, thank you. Have a good
Be
one.
well. Bye. All right, as promised, I said in my last episode I was going to have on the leaders from the Florida State Championship Series. I had on Reed Legg, and now with the it makes me so happy to introduce Darla Woodall. Darla, thank you for coming on to Hook, Line, and Shifter. How you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you again. Thank you for coming on, and congrats on a successful weekend. We'll get into all of that. Give me a little bit about your backstory. Where and how did you decide that you wanted to race mountain bikes, and then throw your name into the hat for the expert women in 2025? Because this is your first year of it, correct?
Yes, this is my first year as the expert. Last year I raced and I won the overall sport.
And were forced to move up, or you wanted to move up, or it's a combination of both?
So it's a combination. Well, no, I wanted to move up. It's kind of funky because if I were, I feel like, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like if I were to race out of the state of Florida, my current category probably wouldn't be necessarily accurate to my ability level. Like perhaps if I were racing in the mountains, I probably am a true sport, but you have to go based off of your cohorts that you're racing with.
Hmm.
And being that I did really well in the sport, naturally, you should move up. I was called a sandbagger not too long ago for racing sport, I have to say, which kind of hurt
Un,
my feelings.
Yeah, don't let it hurt your feelings. Anytime anybody's successful, and obviously you carry that Woodall last name, you're gonna have to deal with stuff like that. You are not a sandbagger. You came through the ranks exactly the way you're supposed to. And
Yeah,
there's just because you're somewhat fast and you win your sport category, everybody thinks that you're a sandbagger. You
right.
are not. You are nowhere near being a sandbagger. So all right, so let's backtrack. I think in somewhere around 2015 or so is when you decided to get into this mountain bike stuff.
Well, so in 2012, I had just left college, and so I was back home with my mom, and she was dating somebody at the time who was into mountain biking. So she asked me, like, "Hey, why don't you grab this?" It was a jalopy mountain bike. This thing had and I'm telling you, we filed down a rigid fork, filed it down so that it would accept a mountain bike tire. Yes. So
Okay.
that's what I
All
started
right.
mountain bike with. It was I don't know why we did that, but
That's why you
that
can
was back in,
appreciate everything that's happening these days when you know you started like
exactly.
that.
Yes, yes. So that was back in 2012. And then we kept riding. I developed like this great group of guy friends that I would ride with, kept riding with my mom. We all got really strong together.
Where have
Um,
you, sorry, have you always been based out of Ocala?
no, so I am from like about an hour south of here in like that Eustis, Mount Dora area.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
everything you're referring to is in that area.
So we would come up to Ocala. So it's funny, even though I lived about an hour south, we would frequently come up to ride the Santos trails. We would sometime also ride, I don't remember what it's called, but there's a trail system in Mount Dora we
Okay.
would ride. So we would go there sometimes too, but
Okay.
primarily Santos.
All right.
So
So this is 2012.
2012.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So 2012, kept riding, loved it, loved just like it's so interesting. Everything about mountain biking is so fun and interesting. I was totally against the road at the time. Now I love
Nice.
road riding because
Really?
I actually do. Road racing, I'm
Okay.
totally against. Totally against because it's a whole different type of people that go. I don't
Okay.
enjoy that scene very much. I love mountain bike scene.
Okay.
But I love to practice on the road. We go KOM, QOM hunting on the road.
Nice.
That really helps for training. But yeah, so just kept getting strong, on the road through the years, and then started dabbling into more mountain bike. My very first mountain bike race, I think, was around like the 2015 timeframe,
Okay. And what
and
race was it?
that was the it was a four-person team at the 12 Hours of Santos.
Nice. 2015, 12 hours of Santos. I'd have to say I was probably there
Probably,
doing it solo. All right.
probably.
How'd that day go for you?
It was a little interesting for me, because although we were all set and ready, us four people to go, my mom had decided to do her very first race that day too. She wanted to do the 3 hour solo, But on her
That was,
first
and that was her first, that was her first race?
that was her first race.
And she elected to go a 3 hour solo as her first race, not even dive into a team.
Nope,
Okay.
nope.
All right.
So three
Sounds like
hours
you come from
solo.
some good roots.
We're very nice yet competitive
All
people.
right. Great. All right.
Yes, yes, yes. But unfortunately, she slid out in some brown ice, and then I had to leave with her from the course, from the race course that day. Took
Okay.
her took her to the hospital. She had tore up her shoulder, had to get some major surgery done with her shoulder. But she sent me off. She's like, "No, you've got a group. Go back." So I went back to the course and then was able to help them a little bit that the rest of that.
Contribute to the team. Did you guys win that day?
I don't think that we did. I don't think we did.
You could say you did. We don't have to
Yeah,
check it.
we sure did. Yeah, for sure.
All right, good.
Yeah,
You,
yeah.
you threw down the fastest lap times out of everybody.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, perfect.
I put it into hyperdrive when I got there and I just, took care of business.
There you go. Sounds like a good day. All right. So what led you after that into the solo cross country racing?
Um, so I still kind of every year, whenever the 12-hour, I love doing the 12-hour at Santos because it's such a family feel. And so every year I would do something. I've done some 6-hour solos there. My husband, Ryan, and I, we've done 2 years. Did we do it 2 years? Yes, we did 2 years for the two-person 12-hour.
Okay.
We won both of those. Um, and so little bit by doing those races, and then also Santos Bike Shop and Gone Riding, they put on, I want to say it's 4 or 5 races. It's on Wednesday nights. It's called the Hump Day Hustle.
Okay.
And kind of
I've heard
dabbled in
about
that.
that.
Yes, because it's very grassroots, very like easy going, just do your best. And I kind of got into it a little bit more. Now, mind you, I've never been much of a mountain bike racer necessarily. I've done a lot of cyclocross races, but something about mountain biking, it kind of makes me a little bit nervous. So I have just mainly done riding, but then last year was my first full season of races. So
Okay. And last year you went right into the sport women, correct?
sport women, yes.
Okay. And how did you finish up last year?
I won overall. I won
Okay.
overall last year. Yeah.
Nice. And then that
Yeah.
obviously moved you up into expert this year, where
Yes.
this weekend or last weekend we kicked off the series in Tallahassee, Tom Brown Park, with a time trial on Saturday, and then the cross country on Sunday. What kind of bike are you on, by the way?
It is an Allied. It's an Allied, a beautiful baby blue Allied. I couldn't tell you the specific type. I don't recall. But it is my first full suspension bike.
Your
Last year,
first full suspension?
yes, I was on
Really?
a hardtail last year. And it's my fault. Um, Ryan, he has a bike shop, full capability of having a full suspension, but I, it always seemed like a non necessity to me. I'm like, I'm fine, and he's like, it's really gonna make a difference, and I'm like, I'm fine.
How long?
And
How long
then
have you been on the full suspension? When did you get on it?
so I he built for me that bike. He built it like 3 or 4 days before the last race of the last season. So
Okay.
the final Ocala race last season, he completed it like maybe 3 days before.
Okay.
And then I raced
And
on
do
it.
you have any desire to go back to a hardtail again?
No,
Good. Good
no, it
choice.
has made a huge difference.
All right. So you raced your Allied this weekend. Like I said, on Saturday was a time trial. Darla got the win in the women category on the time trial. How does time trialing feel to you? Are you stressed for that? Are you calm for that? And then how did the whole day actually play out as far as your emotions? Obviously, we know you got the win, but how was the experience of that time trial being your first debut with the expert women?
So I feel like it was probably the best start. I've ridden at Tom Brown Park before, but I've never raced there because we missed that race last year.
Okay.
Um, and so for me, I think the time trial was the best way to kick it off because a time trial feels like you're kind of just doing a however long minute um, solo effort. You're gonna like go out, do a really hard single lap, and just do your best.
Right.
So
You
I
don't
feel
necessarily have the stress of everybody else around you. It's just kind of you against the course.
exactly, yeah.
Well,
So
you clearly did well because you got 50, you won by 55 seconds.
yes, yeah. I was very pleased with myself because you never know until the end. Yeah, you kind of finish and then you watch and wait, and it seemed like a good period of time went past until the second person, and I'm like, okay, but then that doesn't mean anything because then there's so
Right.
many other opportunities. So you're like, I
Right.
have no
And then
idea.
the scoring issue that we had that Gone Riding had this year, we didn't get the results until a little bit later on in the day, but
Yeah,
you definitely crushed it out there. 14.4 miles an hour was your average speed.
nice. I didn't
Pretty
even know that. That's pretty
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
According to this, 14.4 miles an hour. How is your I would assume that coming off the road, that based on these fire roads and the fire road climb up to the top of the Cadillac Trail, you're probably pretty strong and felt confident for that. What is your single track skills like? How did you feel going down the Cadillac Trail?
Um, so I think my bike handling, so now that I'm on that full suspension, because every time you level up your bike, you're able to go faster. Your bike handling skills have to get that much better. And so on the road, to answer your question, on the road, I feel like I've got some good strength behind me. So I've got the speed and I've got the ability. I have very good endurance, I feel like. Um, I do think that I need to work on my bike handling, my technical abilities a bit. I feel like I'm fairly well balanced between that strength on the straights and then the technical, but I you can always get better.
Of course. Of
Yeah.
course. All right. So you obviously crushed the time trial. Tell me a little bit about recovery for Saturday night and then your preparation for Sunday morning.
Okay. So um Saturday afterwards, we tried to ride around, kind of roll the legs out. Typically, after a race, you had said something before, and I told you we do ice baths. We wanted to do an ice bath that night at the hotel, but we just didn't wind up doing it. Ice
It
baths are
takes a lot of bags of ice. You're going to run that machine down, or a lot of trips to the gas station to get ice to fill up that tub.
yes. And then also it being a hotel bath. I
All
didn't
right,
bring like the proper stuff to clean it and all
got
that.
it. It
I
all
meant to
makes
do it.
sense. It all makes sense.
Yes.
Do you guys use recovery boots or anything? Air boots?
Yeah, we have those. We don't use those super often, but the brand is called Air Relax. So
Okay,
essentially, yeah.
okay. You
Yeah,
didn't
we
bring
have
them with
those.
you?
We probably should start doing that.
Just a
Yeah.
thought. Just a
Yeah.
thought. When you can't do the hotel bath, which I completely understand.
Hmm.
Um, so after dinner, I'm assuming somewhat of a restful night's sleep. On on Sunday morning when you woke up and you first time you roll out of bed and you kind of give that first flex to your legs, are you confident? Are you questioning? And where are you at that point on Sunday morning?
Sunday morning, I was super questionable. My legs hurt so badly. And I was like, what is going on with my legs? I have no idea. Because it was just, I don't believe that you know, it was a hard race, but I pushed myself. But I didn't think that it would have tore my legs apart that badly. But my legs were actually really sore Sunday morning. And it didn't help that Saturday during one of the pre-riding laps, I slid out and I scratched up the side of my leg. So then on Sunday, it's a fresh wound. You get out of bed, the skin's kind of tugging and pulling, and you're
Right.
like, oh gosh.
It doesn't help the emotion for the start of the race at
No.
9:30 or 9:40 for you.
You're like, what the heck? So, and then probably didn't get as good of a warm up as I should have. So just, what Ryan told me, my husband Ryan told me, just this is the start. You as every race passes, as the season continues, you recall things you did from the prior season, you learn new things about your body, and now I know.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, get a better warm up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
One of the great things I think for somebody like yourself, or one of the things that's exciting for me, is to hear all of these stories of the learning process and trying to figure it all out. The key is, and like your husband said, you're going to learn every single time that you race, and you're probably never going to figure it out, but you're always going to get better and better every time you race. There's nothing there. Motorcycle terms, we call it gate drops. There's nothing like gate drops to understand what your body is going to do. You can prepare as much as you can, but there's nothing that can replicate actually getting out there and having to throw down against the girls. All right.
Mm.
So because you won the time trial, you got call up one. Granted, your class isn't that big, so you're not necessarily so concerned with your exact placement on the starting line.
Mm.
But this particular start in Tallahassee, it was a downhill start, and about three-quarters of the way down the downhill was a tree, big oak tree right in the middle of the trail. There was a way to go around the right of it and a way to go around the left of it. Somewhat, it had something to do with where you actually lined up. So on the starting grid, where were you on the starting grid?
I was smack dab in the middle.
Okay, so in the middle, you had the choice to go around the right side or the left side of the tree. What did you choose?
I chose the right side.
The right side. So you chose the long way around the tree. All right.
Yeah.
When we talk about hole shots, we always refer to hole shots as in did you get the hole shot? The definition of getting the hole shot is who enters the single track first. So it was a very wide open start. At the bottom of the start, it pinched off a little bit around a small pavilion and then went into the single track. At what position were you going into the single track?
I got the whole shot.
Okay.
Yep, I got
Nice.
the whole shot. Yeah, I think I was maybe, you're aware of so many little details in just those split seconds. I don't think I was the first to get clipped in, but I was the first to get the first couple pedal strokes. And I think it doesn't happen like this in all cases. Sometimes people will keep kind of pushing the issue and they'll get themselves in there, but it didn't happen. I got myself into the middle. I did go the long way, but I felt like it was smoother.
Okay.
So I went that right way around the tree. And then once we start going downhill and it starts kind of filing in, um, I was right there and no one tried to come around me. I think maybe a level of discomfort, so they just stayed back and I got myself in first.
Okay. So
Yeah.
your first women expert race coming off of a sport title last year, the first round of the 2025 Florida State Championship Series, and you go ahead and get yourself a hole shot. Once you turned and went into the woods, what was your emotion at that point? Were you thinking to yourself, "Oh my, what the hell am I doing up here?" Or, "Man, that was badass. Look at me getting a hole shot." Where was your head at the point that you went into that single track? Because the single track was only, for those of you who don't know, you'll see the video of the actual course, but this piece of single track was probably maybe 30 or 45 seconds before it opened back up to a fire road. What were you thinking when you had your first hole shot in an expert race at that point?
So I learned from last year's races because I've been on both ends of the spectrum. I've had a great start, whole shot, and then I've also had a horrible start where my foot just would not clip in and I was literally last into the woods. And then you have to make
Okay.
so many passes to get back up to the front.
Did you went
And
from
so
last to first in some of those?
I did
Okay, good
one
job.
of the Santos races. I was
All
literally
right.
last into the woods. So then I had to work so hard to get back up to the front. I could just
And Sa-
feel the
and
girls pulling
Santos
away.
is yeah, Santos is a little bit different too because it's a lot of single track to try and get around people. At
Yeah.
least if you don't get a hole shot in Tallahassee, it's not the end of the world because quickly you're going out to a fire road and you get to spend in your case, probably 5.5 or 6 minutes on a fire road to make some passes. All right,
Yes.
so go
Yes.
ahead. So you've gone from last to first. This one you were in first. What were you thinking at that point?
Yeah. So if possible, I like to try for a whole shot. I mean, that's what, and maybe some people don't care about it, but I like to do my best to get the whole shot because you can kind of control your own destiny. If you don't get the whole shot, if you're not first into the woods, at least a portion of your race until you can get around, a portion of your race is dependent on the players in front of you. So if people are in front of you acting a fool, they slide out, they misjudge something, it can directly affect you. So for me personally, I I don't feel I don't feel at ease unless I'm in the front. And that sounds really funky saying it that way, but I feel very comfortable and confident. Now, if someone
Okay.
stronger than me wants to come around, I'm like, okay, you deserve to be there. In this moment, you are stronger than me because I feel like I'm metering out my effort properly and I'll try to pass you in the future. But, if at all possible, I try to get in there in the front.
Okay,
Right
so
away.
it sounds like relatively speaking, you were pretty comfortable with this whole shot. After the small piece of single track, you wind up crossing over a creek. The creek was dry. No issues going through the creek.
Thankfully, no.
All right, there was definitely a lot of flats on Sunday going through that creek. Hell, there's probably a lot of flats on Saturday during the time trial. The
Mm.
creek was dry, but a lot of pointy, sharp rocks. Right after that, we made a right-hand turn onto a fire road, and in your case, it was probably maybe 5.5 or 6 minutes up this fire road. What kind of effort did you throw down? And all of that single track obviously ends up in the up. I'm sorry, all that double track ends up top with pinching back off into single track. So number one, how did that climb feel up to the single track? And number two, did you finish the fire road still in first in the single track?
This was day two.
Yeah, on the cross
Oh,
country
yes.
day.
Yes, yes. So, right at the very end, so I had led the whole way up the double track until the very end, and then the girl that wound up winning, she did pass me at the very end. I think her name is
Okay.
Lauren.
Yeah, Lauren. She wasn't there for the time trial for some reason, but
No,
yeah,
she
I saw
wasn't.
that she got you on Sunday.
Yes,
Okay, so she passed you up at the top of the fire road.
she did. Yeah, she passed me there, and then she pulled away pretty handily. um Kept trying to, like, because you never know if like, God forbid, I didn't want her to crash, but if she crashes or something like that, you want to be right there, even though they do pass you. But unfortunately, I couldn't catch back up with her again. But yeah.
So based on your lap times, you did a 27:20, a little bit abbreviated just based on the start time, 28:25, and then the 28:15. So you shaved an extra 10 seconds off of the final lap.
Mhm.
And Lauren wound up getting you by a little over, just under 2 minutes, a minute and 44 seconds. When you
Mhm.
came down the Cadillac Trail, how did you feel going down the Cadillac Trail? Your skills, you enjoyed that trail, comfortable for you, or a little bit nerve-wracking?
Loved it. I loved it so
Nice.
much. It was
Yeah.
so much fun. I
That
love riding that course. Yeah, lots and lots of
yeah,
fun.
that Cadillac Trail looks so is just so much fun, or that descent is so much fun. It's so fast. All right. And then after that, you cross over the bridge and you wind up climbing up. It's a climb, bit of a false flat climb because it does wind up kicking your ass a bit.
Mhm.
Over to the wood berm. I asked Reed the same question. I'm going to ask you the same question on that wood berm or the heckle section. There's
Mhm.
actually two different things. I had an amazing experience there one time with your husband, but there's two sections to it. There's a lower section that with wood, and then an upper section with wood. There's a seam down the middle of the two. So we always refer to, did you go above the seam or below the seam when you were railing around that berm? So, Darla, were you an above the seam or a below the seam? Keep in mind, I know below the seam is fast and safe, but above the seam is for the fans. Which one did you do? And maybe you did both.
So I think technically I was below the seam because there was, like you said, there's the upper part and then there's kind of
Yep.
what I would refer to as the middle. I
Yep.
was on the upper end of the middle.
All
Yeah.
right, so almost touching that seam. That's the fast way around, but the heckle section and the fans love when you go above. Like I said, I had a great experience there with with your husband years ago. I went on the high side of the seam. He stayed on the low side of the seam, and both of us were plastered on that berm together at the same time. It was
That's
quite a
awesome.
joy. All right, so the expert women, you actually have to do 3 laps.
Mhm.
Like I said, your lap times, you dropped an extra 10 seconds. In mountain bike racing, we constantly refer to negative splitting. Negative splitting means in hopes you're trying to get faster as the day goes on. The first lap, I think, is a little bit abbreviated based on scoring where they actually start it. So 27:20 to a 28:25. I don't necessarily view that you falling off pace by 1 minute. I think a lot has to do with when the timer actually gets started.
Mhm.
How comfortable are you, or what is your thought process as the race goes on to try and get better or try and get faster as the day goes on, knowing that fatigue is setting in and obviously taking in the full atmosphere or the stresses of the race? What can you attribute 10 seconds faster on your final lap?
So I think, obviously you have to respond with the people around you, but I feel like and again, not saying I have it perfected to any extent, but I feel like I've got the metering of the race kind of measured in my mind, how much effort you have to expend, how much you still have, and all of that. And so try to meter it out appropriately. And then last lap, try to really give it your all. When I passed you, when you were on the side of the trail, I was actually in the process, I think
Let's
shortly after.
clarify. It was my race. Darla starts after me. My race was over, and then I'll go back into the trail to spectate. I actually went down to the bottom of the Cadillac Trail. When you cross over there, there's a wood bridge. Again, you'll see it in the video. I stayed there to spectate, cheer everybody on. So that's what she's referring to with me on the side of
Yes.
the trail.
Yes, yes. And I appreciated seeing you.
Well,
Um,
thank you.
Yes. So the gal that finished third place, she had passed by me. And so right after I
Was
saw
she the
you,
girl that was in front of you when I saw you? Because you were sitting somebody's wheel when you crossed over that bridge.
okay, so that's who it was. Yeah.
Okay.
So I couldn't remember if it was just before or just after. So they
No,
must.
you came over that together.
Okay. So then right after that, I passed by her. And then so once I passed by her, I knew, because that was one of the last sections where you can very easily pass somebody.
Yeah, because it winds up
Um,
going from the wood bridge that she's referring to. It goes up to a small piece of double track where it's wide open. Probably, I don't know, what would you say? Maybe 15 seconds or so, maybe 18 seconds long that you have an opportunity to pass before it goes back into single track.
yes, yes, yes. And I did feel like I had, and we talked about it afterwards as well. I felt like I had a little bit of an upper hand in some of those more technical spots. So I was like, this is my opportunity. So I passed by her, ducked back into the trails for that last chunk before coming to the finish. And so I think I attribute the 10 seconds faster time probably to that last section, just knowing, all right, now I've got her back on my tail. I've got to
Hmm.
get away from her.
You did,
So I
and
think,
you did a
yeah,
good job of that because you got her by 20 or 35 seconds before the end of the race. So you were together from there. And at that point, let's say 5, 10, you turned 27, you probably had about 16 more minutes, 17 more minutes of race course after you. So you put on those 35 seconds in that last 17 minutes of the race. That was pretty good.
yeah, yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Well, you the way the system works, the leader jersey is a combination of points from Saturday and Sunday. Darla got the win on Saturday, second place on Sunday, therefore it put her into the leader's jersey. Are you going to make it to Jacksonville next weekend?
We will be there.
Okay, great. So Darla will be debuting the leader's jersey in Jacksonville. For those of you who don't know, she's referred to it a couple times. Her husband is Ryan Woodall. I've spent decades racing Ryan, super talented. And I said to Darla after the race, I said, man, at the podium, I said the only thing that would have made this thing better is the leader jersey of the male and the leader jersey of the female. They get to stand atop of the podium together and take a picture. So it wound up being you, Darla, and Reed. I said, the only thing that's going to make that better is if actually it was Ryan and Darla. I don't think that's ever happened in the past. The only other couple I could possibly think of is maybe Trent and Carolyn back in the day, but we didn't have leader jerseys back then. Okay, so this is where what I was saying before is I don't think you guys know it. I talked to Reed earlier. He and his dad are actually headed to Italy for an Xterra event. Therefore, he is not going to be at Jacksonville this weekend, which means I don't know. You can continue to do what it is that you're going to do. And if Ryan continues to do what he's going to do, I don't know, maybe there's going to be a jersey change this weekend. And I'll get what I was looking forward to seeing last weekend, the two of you sharing those leaders jerseys. If it doesn't happen, I have a sneaking suspicion that it probably will happen at a certain point during the year. So fingers crossed for the two of you. I don't know if you knew that information or not.
So we did, Ryan and we did discuss it last night because, you throw around like the stats, you go through all your information. You're like, I did this many miles per hour and this power and that and these points and that points, this race, that race. So we did discuss it. We're not crossing our fingers or anything like that. We're just going to do our best and we'll see what happens. Yeah.
All right, perfect. Well, Darla, how do fans want to try and follow you? What are your social links that anybody can keep up on what you're doing?
Well, I'm on Strava,
okay,
Facebook, Instagram. Okay. It shouldn't be too hard to find me because there's not many Darla Woodalls. Yeah.
Okay. Instagram. What is the handle for Instagram?
Let me see. Not.
While you're thinking of that, any sponsors, anybody else you want to try and plug? Obviously, your bike shop. Please feel free to talk about that one. But any of your sponsors that you want to throw out there for this interview?
Yeah. So my husband owns a shop called Top Gear Bicycles here in Ocala, Florida. It's a solo in there sometimes doing schoolwork. Currently going to school to get my master's degree, so I'll be in there camping out, stealing his Wi-Fi.
Wow, good for you.
Yeah. We wear Moo cycling kits. They're fantastic kits. Yeah, that's about it.
All right. Yep. What's that Instagram handle? I put you on the spot with this one, huh?
I know. You said you're bad at technology. You haven't even met me yet.
Yeah, don't ask me any of that stuff.
I don't even know how to find out.
I'll tell you what, I'll look it up. I'll look it up for you and I'll add it across.
There you go. Okay.
I'll add it across this for you. But anyways, pleasure having you, Darla Woodall, on my Hook, Line, and Shifter show today. Congratulations again on the Florida State Championship Series 2025 with your Tom Brown time trial win and second place on Sunday, which led you to debut the leader's jersey in your rookie year.
Yeah.
As a female expert. Congratulations. I look forward to seeing you guys next weekend at Jacksonville. Any questions for me or anything you want to add to the end of the show?
No, I don't believe so. No questions. Just thank you for having me.
Yeah, no, thank you. Sorry for some of the glitches. You guys don't know what it was, but behind the scenes we had a few snags that happened. So, Darla, have a great training week, and again, thank you for your time. I look forward to seeing you guys this weekend.
Thank you. You as well. Thank you.
Thanks, Darla. All right. What good interviews there with Reed Legg and Darla Woodall. Two super talented people that have a very good future in the sport. And I hope you enjoyed that video of the pre-ride at Tom Brown Park. Park never really changes, so you can study that video when we get back to Tallahassee next year. You can check out the video again and see what you're in for. I'll be there next year again for my 32nd year. 32nd year. Whew. Of the Florida State Championship Series. This weekend, we're off to Jacksonville, Catherine Abbey Hanna Park, for round 2 of the series. Again, I will interview some people. Don't necessarily know who yet, but I'm going to interview some people from the race. I'll shoot a video after the race is over of what the course is actually like, so we can kind of use that for next year. Unfortunately, I don't have any video of the actual course. Sorry that this video is a little bit different than my normal. So didn't break down any single track secrets. Didn't do questions from the fans. The usual segments. The Woodall racing, even though I had a great list for what. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go ahead and do the Woodall. I'm going to go ahead and do the Woodall racing because this one I actually really liked. This was a Woodall from 2 weekends ago from one of my training rides. After the training ride was over, I decided just to listen in to see what the theme was going around. So here's your Woodall racing or training. Call it whatever you want, but this is Woodall after a good training ride. Quite a bit of them. Ready for this one? I jumped too early. I jumped too late. My chain skipped. You cut me off. I ran out of water. I worked too hard on the earlier workout. I'm saving my legs for tally. My hands were sweaty and I couldn't hold on to the bars. I'm not built to sprint. And one that gets me all the time, I had trail pressure in my tires, not road pressure. Trail pressure in my tires and not road pressure. Let me give an honorable mention here. This one actually got me pretty good. Honorable mention, or number 11. I can't believe he can recover from that at his age. Oh man, I absolutely love this. I can't believe he can recover from that at his age. Try and figure out who they're talking about. All right. That was Woodall Racing from a couple weeks ago. Once again, thank you, Orcus Technologies, U-Cycling, MASH Mobile Vet, POC Helmets, Envy Wheels, and Pirelli Tires. Without you guys, I can't do any of this. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Again, hope you enjoyed the interview with Reed Legg and Darla Woodall. Have another great training week, and we'll see you all in Jacksonville this weekend for round 2 of the 2025 Florida State Championship Series. Have a great training week. We'll see you all in a few days.